Well, in my video yesterday, I showed removing an apple tree to extend the size of the garden. And hopefully the roots are well enough. I delivered it to a lady I met off of a Facebook group yesterday for gardening, and she planted it yesterday and promised to keep me updated on if it is going to survive or not. I'm hoping it does. We just didn't want it anymore with the added 500 square feet we're going to put to the garden, but there's a few things I wanted to show you today. So we live in a 6B zone, and normally this kind of stuff is completely dead. I didn't harvest the rosemary this year and can it up. We just used it as we cooked. Love cooking with rosemary. And this may be a year it's going to survive, depending on what the weather does the rest of the year. And this guy here looks very healthy. I think it's going to survive just fine. All sorts of things here in the herb bed that are doing just fine. Chives are already starting to come up, which is crazy here in the first part of February. Chives, use a lot of them. Eat the blossoms. The blossoms are really good. Also make a vinegar out of the blossoms. But I think it'll survive. Little pruning once it starts to grow, unless we get some cold weather. But there's more that I wanted to show you. So I grow a ton of sunflowers, about 100, 90 to 100. I grow them because I like the looks of them. I have an attempt to get taller and taller every year. My tallest one that I've ever grown was 13 feet. And I save the seed from the biggest head every year, and that's my seed for the next year. So what I do is I cut the stalks down. Now you can leave the stalks if you want, but I cut them down. I just like that it's cleaner, although this year I did not clean the garden up like I normally do in the fall. Things got busy with another project at the lake. Also the corn, I just cut it down. So in the springtime, that's the best time to take these out. I'm not gonna take them out yet, but you leave them this tall. And as you know, sunflowers are really hard to pull in the fall. And you just kick the stalk over, and it, well, that one did. Oh, it's under some rocks, and it just comes right out. Bang as much dirt off as you can. Now, another thing you can do is leave the stalks, cut them down a little shorter, and plant between them. Leave the stalks. That's good for the soil. However, I like a much cleaner look, so I pull them all out. You can also, if you want, put sunflowers in the seeds early, and they will come up as the soil warms up. However, I wait until it's closer. Transplanting sunflowers, not recommended. There's a lot of things in the garden that you should direct seed, like squash, cucumbers, sunflowers, obviously tomatoes and things like that. You want to start indoors or buy plants. Another thing that may survive, which does not ever happen in our zone, is good grief, what are these things called? Jerusalem artichokes. Our area is not known for artichokes, but I do get artichokes. I plant them in specific places and give them plenty of water. Nothing like California gets, but we do harvest artichokes. And as for the greenhouse experiment, they said it was sunny in the weather app. It does not look sunny. However, I did reach about 65 degrees today. So that's good indoors. Inside, lots of moisture in there. Still warming the soil up. It's still thawing deep down. I'm not ready to plant yet, but I'm going to plant soon. And again, the seeds that I put in, I think they'll germinate as the soil temperature reaches that ideal temperature. And this is just an experiment to start early. So we're gonna see how it goes. And one last thing, this is my strawberry bed, which really looks like a disaster. I don't do anything with my strawberries. People say to mulch them. I don't think it's necessary, not even in the coldest of winters. Once they start growing, I'll come in, prune them way back, dig up the runners. I give the runners away on my gardening page on Facebook, and clean them up nice and tidy. And every year we get tons of strawberries. Now, one thing about strawberries that you must be aware of is they do have a lifespan. So sometimes the runners, you want to save those, dig out your older plants and put in new plants, because they will start producing less and less strawberries as the years go by. About 4 to 5 years, you're going to start seeing a major decline in your strawberries. But anyways, follow along and see how this garden comes along. It's really quite a mess right now. I'm actually quite ashamed of it. Normally by this time of the year, it's already been cleaned up from the previous fall, but last year was pretty busy, and yeah, just didn't get to it, but that's fine. It's not a problem. One last thing I'll show. Apparently I missed one of my onions, and as you can see, onions don't mind the cold weather. I'll probably leave this in and harvest some of the leaves once they start growing good, eventually pull the bulb out. But onions don't mind the cold. You can put those in very early in the year. This is just one that survived over the winter, and probably will do just fine, especially with the year we've had this year. One last thing I wanted to add, now that the sun is coming out but also setting, imagine the temperature in there is going to rise rather quickly. Anyways, why do I grow so many sunflowers? Number one, they're beautiful. Number two, neighbors all the time stop, take pictures of them. The yellow color is just amazing. But other than my own personal joy of them, I donate all of the heads except for the biggest one. I keep that one selfishly and replant it. I'm on about a 5-year cycle now of my own seed, but I donate the heads to a bird and wildlife sanctuary, and they use those seed to feed injured animals, obviously animals that like sunflowers, and it's great. I just pile them up in the corner of the driveway, and she comes and picks them up every year. I've turned her on to other friends of mine that like to grow sunflowers, and that's kind of why I do it, other than the fact that I could just compost them and get rid of them. But I love tall, yellow is my favorite color, so that's why I do it.